Burkina Faso's bold rebirth. 17 projects that are silencing the West and rebuilding Africa on African terms. What if everything you thought you knew about Burkina Faso was wrong? Not just slightly wrong, but completely upside down. What if poverty was never the whole story, but a convenient label slapped on by foreign media to hide something far more threatening to their influence? A country rising on its own terms. What if the sound of cement mixers at dawn in the Sahel isn't just construction noise? It's the sound of colonial illusions crumbling? Welcome to a different Burkina Faso. Not the one you see in charity ads or conflict headlines, but one being reborn brick by brick, farm by farm, and idea by idea. Under President Ibrahim Traoré, Burkina Faso is no longer waiting for permission. It is acting. It is building. It is showing the continent what it means to reclaim power, not with protest signs, but with policy and progress. Let's take a deep dive into 17 bold projects that are helping redefine not just Burkina Faso, but the very idea of African development. 1. Air Burkina, high-flying independence. Air Burkina isn't just an airline, it's a symbol of mobility and sovereignty. For decades, Africans had to travel through Europe just to visit a neighboring country. That's over. In 2024, the government bought 2 Embraer jets outright, giving Burkina Faso regional flight routes to cities like Abidjan, Dakar, and Lomé. These aircraft don't just carry passengers, they also move essential goods like medical supplies and food products, boosting trade by over 40% in just 1 year. Even more importantly, all operations, pilot training, aircraft maintenance, flight control, are now handled inside the country. That means Burkinabe pilots flying Burkinabe planes, maintaining Burkinabe infrastructure. It's not just air travel, it's self-respect at 30,000 feet. 2. Healing ourselves, Bobo Dioulasso Hospital. Imagine the most modern hospital in West Africa, built not by foreign aid groups, but by Burkinabe hands. The new Bobo Dioulasso Hospital is equipped with robotic surgery, solar-powered energy backup, and even a mobile wing for outreach to rural villages. Constructed in just 18 months using national gold reserves, it created over 700 jobs and involved partners from Iran and Algeria, not former colonial powers. Since opening, it has reduced infant mortality in the region by 18%, with thousands of successful surgeries already conducted. This is what it looks like when Africans stop depending on outside help and start healing themselves. 3. The Postal Bank, banking without borders. Banking has long been an obstacle for rural Africans, but the new Postal Bank of Burkina Faso is rewriting the script. With over 200 branches and mobile units, it offers low-interest loans, gold-backed savings, and mobile accounts accessible even without smartphones. Women entrepreneurs are now opening businesses with small loans. Farmers are buying tractors and fertilizer. And when France froze West African reserves in 2023, it was this very bank that helped keep salaries flowing for public workers. The Postal Bank isn't just financial inclusion, it's financial liberation. 4th, drones that serve, not just spy. Burkina Faso's military now uses Bayraktar drones from Turkey, not only to target terrorist hideouts, but also to save lives. These drones can scan vast areas, identify kidnappers, and even help locate lost children. But their peaceful uses are just as powerful. Monitoring crops, surveying infrastructure, and tracking floods before they strike. Burkina Faso has even become a training hub for drone operators from across West Africa, teaching local youth how to use this technology for both defense and development. 5. Water is power. Access to clean water is more than a necessity, it's a political weapon. So, Burkina Faso took action. The National Water Security Plan is drilling solar-powered wells across the country, particularly in underserved regions like Dori and the Sahel. In Dori alone, 97 new wells now provide clean water to over 200,000 people. And with smart water meters and aquaculture added to the Kompienga Dam, the nation is taking control of its most precious resource on its own terms. 6. Roads of renewal. In Ouagadougou, new roads are paving more than just pathways. They're paving pride. A $120 million investment has transformed the city's traffic network, slashing traffic deaths by a third and reducing carbon emissions with better flow and solar-powered streetlights. These roads feature more than just asphalt. They include murals, native language signage, and spaces for local vendors. It's not just infrastructure, it's identity. 7. Farming with machines, not machetes. Subsistence farming is a trap. Mechanized agriculture is freedom. The government's initiative to provide 800 tractors and over 5,000 irrigation pumps has doubled maize and millet production in 2 years. Smart cards linked to bank subsidies allow farmers to buy what they need with ease. The result? Burkina Faso now exports food to neighbors, and hunger is no longer the default story. 8. Sankara's spirit lives on. The Thomas Sankara Memorial is more than a statue. It's a campus, a school, a museum, and a sanctuary of Pan-African vision. Here, young leaders from across Mali, Niger, and Chad come to study Sankara's teachings, debate strategies for African unity, and design the continent's future. International forums are held in its halls. Sankara isn't just being remembered, he's being revived. 9. Solar power and nuclear ambition. 4 new solar farms now provide electricity to over 600,000 homes. But the real game changer is what's coming. Burkina Faso is building a nuclear reactor with Russia's Rosatom. This facility, slated for 2027, will be operated and managed by trained local engineers. Once complete, it will provide energy independence, not just for Burkina Faso, but for neighboring countries as well. 10. Gold refined at home. Burkina Faso is rich in gold, but for years, the profits were stolen through foreign-controlled refineries. That's no longer the case. The new refinery in Manga processes over 146,000 ounces of gold per month and stamps bullion with Burkina Faso's official seal. This isn't just about gold. It's about finally controlling the wealth that belongs to the people. 11th. Weaving culture into commerce, Faso d'Anfani. In Koudougou, a textile revival is underway. Faso d'Anfani, the traditional cotton fabric once worn by Sankara himself, is now mass-produced in a new industrial hub. With over 4,000 weavers, the project uses organic materials and even blockchain to certify authenticity. All government uniforms must now use Faso d'Anfani. This is culture turned into currency. 12th. An airport for a new era. The Ouagadougou-Donsin Airport, now 30% built, will be one of Africa's busiest regional hubs, handling up to 1 million passengers annually. No more relying on Europe for air travel. With an AES regional terminal and open-sky cargo systems, Burkina Faso is placing itself at the center of West African aviation and cutting freight costs for exporters by over 50%. 13th. Penyi Fuel Depot, resistance in a tank. Sanctions in 2023 aim to choke Burkina Faso's fuel supply. The response? Build their own. The Penyi Depot now holds 120 million liters of fuel and uses satellite-monitored valves to prevent theft. Ambulances, tractors, and defense vehicles will never be stranded again. Not by sanctions, not by sabotage. 14. Highways to unity. A 1,200-kilometer highway network is under construction, connecting key cities across Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. These roads are armored with recycled plastic for durability and monitored by drones for safety. But they do more than move people. They connect mining operations, supply lines, and military bases. These highways are roads to liberation. 15. AES, the new African alliance. Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger are no longer waiting for ECOWAS or the AU to deliver. Through the Alliance of Sahel States, AES, they are designing their own future. Joint military operations, a shared digital currency called the Kuri, and a new passport are already in the works. Together, they're forming the foundations of a new Pan-African order. 16. Cement that builds more than walls. In Loro, a cement plant is producing 2,000 tons of high-grade cement daily. But that's not all. The facility captures waste heat to grow algae, which becomes protein-rich livestock feed. Over 3,500 people are employed, and its eco-industrial design is now being studied by other African nations. Cement is no longer a colonial import. It's a national export. 17. The nuclear future. Burkina Faso's most ambitious project, a domestically powered Russian-backed nuclear reactor producing 1,200 megawatts of electricity by 2027. Every part of the cycle, uranium mining, engineering, energy distribution, will be handled locally. This is not just about electricity. It's about announcing to the world, we're not waiting. We're ready. Burkina Faso's journey is not a fantasy. It's happening, day by day, with sweat, vision, and purpose. These 17 projects are not charity. They're not borrowed from the West. They are born in Africa, by Africans, for Africans. President Ibrahim Traoré's approach is revolutionary, not because it's loud, but because it's working. Burkina Faso is not begging for approval. It is laying tracks, raising buildings, powering homes, and inspiring a continent. The world is watching. But this time, Africa is building. This is Burkina Faso Unchained.